It's our last evening. It's good to take it in, eh? So many great things. Eternal rhythmic Indian music. A refuge ceremony. Always good when you can get it. Dead batteries also good when you can get it. Lot to be said for that. One day when it was raining, Tian Singh said to Young Shan was one of the great teachers, good rain, good rain. And Young Shan said, what's good about it? And Tian Singh couldn't find an answer. And then Yang Shan said, I can answer. And Tian Singh said, what's good about it? And Yang Shan pointed at the rain. What's good about this evening? What's good about you? Very good. That's what's good. There's a couple of lines in the Blue Cliff record. One of them goes, with great ease, freely, I watch the tracks of the flying birds. What's good about it? The tracks of the flying birds. And there's another line in the same poem, it's in the Blue Cliff record, that says, when I cross the stream, the sound goes silent. He becomes the sound. There's nothing else. Probably shouldn't have said that. But, it's kind of fun, isn't it? You become. There's only one thing in the universe with all its many forms. And you become that. In meditation. It can't be explained, but you can be grateful for it. And there's so much, so much going on, the music, the refuge. So I just picked up my phone. I haven't really been looking at it, but there's a green aurora in Edinburgh right now. My daughter just sent me. You should see that. I know you're in Sesshin, but you should see that. Another friend of mine, I don't think he really cares. He likes to give people things. So he brought a friend from Japan to watch the Dodgers in a huge playoff thing in Southern California. And that was a great Japanese star who hit 3 home runs and pitched as well, pitched 10 people out or something. And I don't know a lot about baseball, but I'm pretty sure that's incredible. And so his friend got to watch that, whom I know too. And Mo, his friend's name is. And so all these things are going on. And then we have this music, this hypnotic mantras going. And thinking, wow, not so bad to be a Hindu. Not so bad to have a view. What's good about Zen? And, the sorrows you have, it's all right. They're here, you're allowed. And you probably did it and caused it. But that's allowed too. Don't be defending yourself and holding on to it and things like that. There have been many, many, many mistakes in life, many of which never happened. Freely, I watch the tracks of the flying birds and the flying mistakes. So here's kind of splendid thing from the Blue Cliff was there's a collection of poetic cases, and then 100 years later, from Yunmen's school. Yunmen was this great wild teacher that we've heard us talk about till the cows come home. And he was a brilliant and talented person. He went and studied with great Mujo. Mujo was the head of practice for Linji. And Linji was a tough guy, but Mujo was really a tough guy. And he would, people would come to visit Linji, and Mujo would, in a way, take care of them, but make sure they kind of straightened up a bit, And so he was the head of practice, a somewhat feared and somewhat loved creature. And then I guess Linji died, and he went off and he lived, took care of his mother, and he made shoes for the passing pilgrims. It was kind of a touching thing, really. People's shoes wore out, they walked so much. They thought, I'll get in line if I go to the next temple. He wasn't very persuaded of the necessity of that, but he was persuaded of the necessity of shoes. So he'd make shoes for people, he'd leave them out on the trail. So it tells you something about him. And then Yunmen ended up going to see him. He was very old by then, a generation or so after Linji. And but he lived in his hut, and you'd have to bang on the door, and he might or might not open it. He was that kind of teacher. He would hear your footsteps coming along the deck, and he said, I don't know, I don't think I want to open the door to those footsteps. So he, Yunmen came 3 times to see him. The first 2 times he didn't even open it. The second time he cracked it open a bit. Yunmen was ready, and he pushed it open and bounded in. And Mujo just looked at him. And what have you got to say for yourself? And he said he wasn't at ease. It was true. And Mujo said, yeah, and threw him out and slammed the door, and his leg got caught in it, in the door, Yunmen's leg. There are various accounts of this, but the mythic account is that his leg broke, and as he screamed with pain, he had a great awakening. Just goes to show, as they say in Tasmania. I don't know what else to say. Just goes to show. A comment that doesn't mean anything. And so, but he actually stayed. He and Mujo became very close, and he stayed there a long time. Mujo just sent him off. He said, "You know, you may have noticed, but I'm over 100, and I can't throw you about the way I need to. Nice, vigorous student like you. He said, I think you need to go." And he sent him up to Shuifeng. And so Yunmen was one of the great students of this great temple that had 1,500 students or something. And they had great masters there studying because they were so renowned. And so people took care of him, and they tried to look after him, pass him on to a good teacher. And then first of all, he wasn't he didn't go to the Cloud Gate Mountain, Yunmen. Yunmen means Cloud Gate. He got his name from the place. He didn't go there at first. He went to another place, but and there was a warlord who was funding it, but the warlord always wanted him to diagnose whether he should make war on his neighbors. And Yunmen said, I don't know. This is a hard one because no matter what I say, it's going to turn out badly. So he asked the warlord, he said, it's just too busy here for me, and I just need to go off further into the mountains. And the warlord actually built him a temple in the mountains, which still exists today. And he said a lot of famous things. One of the famous things he said is, I don't ask you about before the full moon. Try to say something about after the full moon. What? And Yunmen answered for everyone, every day is a good day. Every day is a good day. So, all right, it's not a bad thing. It's a good day. We had the music, the ceremony, a refuge ceremony. We had people got deeply depressed in the middle of their practice. All those things, It's a good day. And so you can tell it, hang on, what is a good day? And you see that we had a teachers' meeting kind of accidentally over dinner, and I said, well, what's a good day? And it's like, what is a good day? And we have a friend who's a painter, who's originally from Tokyo, and she said, Mayumi Oda, and she said she hates that saying. She just hates it. Mayumi liked to oppose things, so particularly Japanese things. And I just hate that, it's just, it's just, people have a nice calligraphy in the entrance, and when I walk in, I want to throw up. And I said, I like it. I like it every day. It's a good day. Ignorant, barbarian Westerner that I am. It's a good saying. And so you can tell it's, and it's particularly something if you've had what you would normally think of as a hard day. Oh, what if it's good to be alive? I hate what my husband, wife, kid said to me. They're so clueless and they don't understand me. They don't take care of me. They don't say the right thing, and that's a good day. Good day, good day. And there's some way in which, at some stage in the practice, we realize that it's okay. Something happened today that you might once disapproved of, but There's no point in disapproving of your life. And I don't know, probably all advice is bad, but try to love people, just saying. And it'll cost you something to love them. Because, I don't know, it'll be inconvenient sometimes. Life is mainly about inconvenience. Can't get this program right. So, day, good day. Every day is a good day. And so, for my friend in LA, he got his friend to come to see him. He got him. It's hard to get those kind of tickets. And he's good at that shit. He can get the tickets, So he got his friend to come and see this, and then he got to brag about it to me. And I got to brag about it to you. So it was that was a good day. At this point, you could feel the ripples going down. And my daughter went and climbed. She just knew that Alison and I would love to see. So she went and climbed this hill in Edinburgh, came up to get a clear shot of the aurora. And then we got to brag about it to you too. And so that was a good day for her, for us. It's life, isn't it? It's just life. And just sitting in here with your faces, that's so beautiful. No matter what you think of yourself, your opinion doesn't really count. What do you know? Your faces are beautiful. And the beauty of being alive. And you can tell that, creatures, animals have it too. That's the dog Buddha nature thing. Animals have it too. There's a light in living things. The redwood trees have it. Even trees that aren't redwood trees and aren't like 1,000 years old have it. And you can see that light in people. And it's a nice thing to know about. And it's a nice thing not to figure out, but just to appreciate. So most of life is like that. I don't know. We're not that good at figuring it out, really. But we can appreciate it, and that's love. We can love it, and we can do that for each other. That's right, but I came in this afternoon to sit, and I thought, well, I might as well sit, And then music started. I said, wow, that's great. I just sat down and the music started. Kind of magic. And then I came in this evening and I sat down and music again started. Wonderful singing. And I thought, wow, I'm in the land of the fairies. Every day is a good day. And I think it's all right to die. Was that book that Alison quoted the other night? Most people are going to die. Statistically. Possibly everyone. So, that's all right. I remember my father, when he was dying, he comes back to me sometimes. We didn't know each other that well because our relationship was less than perfect, and considerably less than perfect. And I went to far places. I ran away over the hills and rivers. Ended up in Northern California, as you see. And but I went back to see him when he was dying. I would go back occasionally. And when he was dying, he said, I wish I'd known you. It was kind of touching, And it was just thus. It wasn't like we should have done something different, or we could do something different, or we could work it out differently. said, yeah, excellent. He said, you seem interesting. I said, oh, good to know. I'll remember that next lifetime. And so that's it. So that's a good day too. He's dying. We have this conversation. It's just genuine. Nothing special about it. It's not. And we didn't manage to, really meet a couple of times. He told me some good stories as he lay dying. That he hadn't told people about. The usual stuff of, guys, all these amazing things have happened, and they don't tell anybody until they're about to die. So a bit late now, I think, but everybody knows that. Anybody who's been in combat knows that, right? And or even if you haven't been in combat and you've talked to people who have, so he had all these stories about being buried alive by bombs in the Second World War, digging himself out and then finding a hand and digging it out with his buddy, things like that. With mates, as they say in Australia. So they were the things he wanted to tell me. And I was happy to hear whatever was alive for him. So that's a good day, right? Talking about being buried alive and how I'm dying now. So it was kind of funny, When I was about to leave, and I just knew I was never going to see him again. And also, he was only going to live a few more days, and I had a session to come back to him. I wasn't going to miss the session. And I said to him, well, I'm leaving tomorrow. He didn't say anything. So I said, well, I'm leaving tomorrow. Nothing, So I said, well, I'm leaving tomorrow. He said, I am very well aware of that. It was kind of cute, It's like, I know I don't approve of it, but what can I do? I'm dying. That's so sweet. So that's something. That's a good day, and the intimacy of that was there, and my sister, he'd gone to live with my sister, lived in Adelaide, and Adelaide got hit pretty bad by global climate change and all the heat and stuff, fires. And Adelaide's beautiful, sort of wine country, but it gets hot, and it's right on the southern coast of Australia. I've been talking about the weather, and he was one of those people who it's probably not climate change, that's all bullshit, So. And I said, well, suit yourself. But, and then, and it was just really hot, and then I'm leaving. And I said, well, do you have any last things to say to me? And he said, I'd like you to do something about the weather. I thought that was a pretty good last words, And I said, very well. And I left and got on a plane. So that's a good day. I don't know why my dad came to mind, but I was wondering what I would talk about. Is this what I should have talked about? Is that a good day? Is this a good evening? What should we talk about? So what did Yunmen mean? It's a good day. Yunmen liked brief, intense saying. Every day is a good day is one of his longer teachings. And but he liked those punchy kind of things. Revealed. Somebody asked him some question. He said, revealed. And so you could, in a certain sense, take his sayings in. He had 1-word teachings, 2-word teachings, 3-word teachings. You could take them in, and they would enter your heart, and they would transform you in some way. And that's why we still talk about him. I would say talk with him today. And that one of the things I like, it's a good day, about a good day for me is, when you're with someone, you can feel their heart and you can feel your heart. It's a big thing, And it took me a long time to really, well, that's real, isn't it? Like that, As a tough young kid, and you go out and smash into people on the football field. That's intimacy. But there's something, when you're just sitting beside someone, you don't even have to say anything, and you can feel their heart. And you feel like looking around the room. It's a nice thing. Nice that we have that as human beings. And that's why we do all this stuff, right? Ceremonies. And it makes us, squashes us in so we'll sit still long enough to notice our hearts. And we're connected in that way. And that's intimacy. That's what intimacy is, right? So I kind of like that, And even feelings of sorrow, that can be the good day. If I feel sorrow, I might realize, oh, what happened was sad. And I had part of it, my part in it. And so that can be the good day to just see that, and appreciate that, and let it in. When Robert Aiken was my Zen teacher, and when his wife died, I don't know what, somehow I was there like the next day. Maybe I flew out. I don't think so, but I was probably nearby. So, and I went to see him. And he said, "Everything's transformed." And she was perfect and flawless. And he was kind of grumpy old guy, He didn't really think that about people in general, And he was a bit scared of women, I mean, his wife was incredibly gracious and kind, but you could tell he was kind of scared. But he said she was perfect and flawless. So in the midst of that grief, that was a good day. So how are we doing? How are we doing, Tess? Tess thinks we're okay, so that either means she has no judgment or we're doing okay. A couple of lines in this koan also, within the myriad forms, there's only one body. To view, the lone, solitary brightness, what Linji called it. Solitary, some of you might work on that as a koan. The lone brightness, the solitary brightness, the one brightness in the universe. And if you look at people, you'll see it in them. Or if you look at your hand, hold it up, other people might see it through your hand. It's there, It's never not there. So that's why it's always a good day, because that brightness is always in your heart and in the people you love, and even the people you can't stand. Because you're not standing there, it's got nothing to do with whether they have Buddha nature or even whether it's a good relationship. It's kind of fun, isn't it? You hold it up and it demonstrates the cosmos. Every day is a good day. So, only when you're sure for yourself will you be near. And near was a word for intimate, and so was intimacy was a word for enlightenment. She became intimate. I was saying, oh, she saw what reality was about, entered the real. So I don't know. Alison, do you want to say anything? Yes, you do. Tess. I'm picking up my friends first, but it's going to get to everybody.
Well, when you asked this at dinner, that intimacy thing becomes an important feature. I was telling you about a time my partner and I were so sick together. We had to travel very far, and we didn't know if we could make it. And I have a picture in my phone of us sort of mid-journey, and we just laid our heads on each other's shoulders, and we're making this absurd face, just, destroyed, but we're so happy because somehow we're in this together, and it's absurd, and we're shipwrecked, and it's great.
I remember that. That was in Kyoto when you arrived, And that was great. We were walking around the rain trying to find a temple that we couldn't find. A good day. Dragging our friends. Todd, you got anything you want to say?
What immediately came to mind was when my dog Clark died. It was really hard. Still, it's almost been a year. It's like still feels very much like a heartbreak. But man, it's just, that I couldn't have that without all the other good days before it. And there's just no way I can look at that day and say it was bad. Can't do it.
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Dogs. This old blue healer who I knew was almost dead, but then he suddenly disappeared. He got out of the house. And man, I don't know how, but I couldn't find him. I thought he must be in the back paddock, and I was exhausted and fell asleep for an hour or two and couldn't find him. And then at about 5:30 in the morning, big trucks backing up into the driveway. I didn't know what it was, and it was a guy from the dairy farm up the road. And he's looking at me, and I don't see what he wants me to look at. So I say, hi, what's up? And he's got the dog in his back of his truck, And so I leaned, and the dog was not high. I said, well, where'd you find him? He said, he was just lying on the road. I thought he was one of my dogs. And but he had the tags, and so he drove to the place, and almost next door. And I said, did he get run over? He said, no, he just died in the middle of the road. So I held out my hand, and he put the dog, and I'm standing there, and I thought, oh no, I've got to shake his hand. I've got this dead dog, and I got tears running down my face, and he just looks at me, shakes my hand, gets back in his big truck, and drives off, and it was a very tender moment. So then I took the dog in and washed him, like I would with a human, like I have with humans sometimes. Washed him and dried him and put him on an altar with flour in his ear. So those moments are tender because you realize life and death. Life and death is a grave matter, we used to say. All things pass quickly away. But that seemed a bit preachy to me, so we can say different things. But still, life and death is a grave matter. And you know how if you're just walking along and just look at a tree, that's it too. The tree is a tree. Now a tree will come to meet you. Trees might be interested in you. Just saying, worth the risk. Living well, living completely is worth the risk. But what do you lose if you? Well, there's nothing in life anyway, so I'll hold back. So yeah. Eleanor, you want to say anything?
I'm just thinking of so many occasions where what I thought was bad turned out to be so memorable. I was hiking up on Mount Machu Picchu. We did the trek up there, and I was the only person that took the altitude sickness drug ahead of time, and I was the only person that got altitude sickness. And so, and you have to time it right, but it was a wonderful trail. It's actually the Inca Highway, and the entire way is a stone wall that's exactly the height that when you want to just rest your day pack, it's right there. And because it feels like a fever and a flu, but you know it's just altitude sickness, so it's not like contagious. And so I have just this sparkling image, and I just look around and say, wow, I'm in the Andes. So everything became heightened, although I felt like shit. That was a good day.
Very good. Amanda, do you want to say anything? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Share your demons.
I just love that phrase, the great matter. And I think about it a lot. The great matter of life.
It's in your voice when you sing. That light is there too. Michael, do you want to say anything? See, I'm persecuting people now. Grace, you want to say anything? Where's Grace? Oh, there you are.
I learned so much from all the stories that all the teachers say, and I take those home with me. And they do something. They trigger something in my heart, and I'm just so grateful and so much joy for just being here and being able to experience all this. A good day.
That's it? Collins were a weird thing like that because you think, what's it doing? What does it think it's doing? I mean, really. And it doesn't, it's a so it works on my imagination, or our imagination. So it's not a linear form, it's different from learning, the code for an operation or something like that. And I like that. And it changes me without telling me what it's doing. So I can't have a set goal. The true traveler has no set destination, says Laozi, and no known time of arrival, no particular time of arrival. Go on, it's like that. Amelia, did you want to say something?
Yes, what comes to mind, so many moments and images, but after breakfast I walked up the forest trail and I saw someone ahead of me, and so I kind of slowed down because I didn't want to trail them too closely. But when I got up the steps, he was sitting there, like waiting just for me. Not really, but it was just nice. It was, I felt welcomed on the forest trail. So. Good day.
Dana, I don't know you very well, but I thought I would be obnoxious and ask you to talk. It's like my dad said, You look interesting. I wish I'd known you.
I was thinking about, almost about a year ago, I had to move out of this place that I'm building. And it was like just getting winter, and it was pretty terrible. And my partner was really, really sick. And I was so upset that we had to leave our place. But then we came back to the Bay Area, and ultimately he got so sick that he was in the hospital. And like, to the point where the surgeon was arguing with him, like, if we don't give you surgery, you're gonna die. And the day we left, it was like full moon, and it was a really good day that we left. And yeah, it's fine.
Did he have the surgery?
Yeah, I got it. That was.
There's a novelist in some Zen teachers who wants to know, how did it turn out? That's in me. I'm glad it, you pulled through, you both pulled through. And now you're here. It is thus, a good day, thus. Mario, do you have anything you want to say?
The week before this, I was with my youngest daughter as a 3-month-old baby and her husband. And I think all week here, I've been struggling with just kind of the heaviness of new sons-in-laws and husbands and families. And how, for me, it's always this, family is so important, and it can kind of throw me around, And after those myths and talking with Tess, I feel like both my daughters have been abducted by Hades. And actually, I realized it's fine. I've been kind of thinking there was a problem with it, but the more that time goes by and I sort of settle in with sitting and with conversation with my teachers, and just like, it'll be all right. That keeps coming back to me when you say,
It'll be all right.
And I realize it will be, and I don't even need to do anything about it. They made choice, and it's actually kind of interesting when I come around from that point of view. It does open up the space, and it changes things for me about how to be with that and to be with them. So I really am so grateful for that. It's like things have just sort of transformed, or beginning to transform in my mind about just how to be with it. That's the reality, and it's kind of wonderful in some weird way, So that's where I'm.
The poem or the koan about does a dog have Buddha nature or not? No. Judges, lots of students that work with no, moo, the Japanese, woo in Chinese, no, English. The beautiful koan, but that's the short form. But the long form is, does a dog have Buddha nature or not? Yes. Yes. Well, how come he's in that hairy bag? Where he knew what he was doing, and that's why he dogged. Great word, is it? Jojo just made up that word on the spot. That's why he became. That's why he dogged. They knew what they were doing. That's why they Hadesed. That's their Buddha nature. Yeah. You can't stop people from marrying the wrong person. I couldn't stop myself either at one stage. But yeah. So it's one of those things that, it's your fate is part of the beauty of it too.
Fate is
part of the good day.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like a good day.
And the other side of that, in that koan, when the koan goes on, and somebody else asks, well, the dog have Buddha nature or not? And Jojo says, no, well, all beings have Buddha nature. How come a dog doesn't? So these old Chinese Zen students give you a run for your money, and so Jiao said he is beginning to awaken in a world of ignorance. Karmic consciousness is the technical term from Sanskrit, so. And that's why they're in Hades, they're beginning to awaken.
The other little piece is about separation, that when things begin to open up and shift, the feeling of separation isn't so great. And there's a space to be in it. So,
yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
It's a good thing.
Well, it's good to know about the Lord of Death. The Lord of Death is not necessarily against us. Laura, do you have anything you want to say? Laura, get it.
Well, I was thinking about my mom's death, and it was slow enough so that family could come and we could all be with her. Beautiful in waves. But I was also, like, it occurred to me like a couple of weeks ago that if I were on my deathbed, if I were dying, and like this might not actually be true when I'm on my deathbed, but when I imagine being on my deathbed, like just wanting one more experience, like it could be anything, like rage or discomfort or annoyance or joy or, just life.
Cocoa Pops. Cocoa Pops.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, life is thus. And I think it's all right, though. You'll get the experience. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to keep money in your pocket and stuff. Isan Dorsey said the great thing of like, oh, you shouldn't be dying. Oh, Isan, you're such a great person. You do so much good in the world. I roll from Isan, and he said, well, you get what you deserve, whether you deserve it or not. And yeah, and it's about living, really. It's about, people working hard to give us food and we can enjoy it. Enjoy the food, enjoy their smiling faces or their scowling faces when they look tired. Being served good food by worn-out people, that's a good day. Anybody else want to say anything?
I'll say something more about death.
Yeah, go for it.
I was at 3 deathbeds, but one was a cat, 2 human, within a month last spring. And this is how people transform at the end. One of them was a newly minted dharma teacher, and she didn't seem afraid, but I couldn't recognize her because it turned out she wore dentures.
Oh, wow.
And the dentures were out, and she didn't look like herself. And finally, at the end, they're packing up her stuff, and I'm like, oh, she had dentures. But it makes it the death.
But those details are the sort of thing the psyche seizes on. And the great puzzle of life and death, not really about dentures, it's about, but get this, it's really about the great puzzle of life and death. And so we fix on dentures or whatever we fix on,
But, just this seeing the transformation in your loved one's face so they're almost not recognizable. But it's sure making every day a good day since then. I mean, sure there's grief, but also just like I'm alive,
Good.
Still alive.
And I suppose that's good. I want to say something. Prajna is different from keeping your mind calm, or even, which Prajna could ask me if I care, says Prajna. And it's about that clarity where you can see the light inside everything. You might be really sad, or somebody might be really angry, but you can see the light. And so you're not, whether they got dentures in or not, it's not the thing, and it's really important to notice that about Prajna. Because koans are really about that. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here anyway. It's about the imagination of the universe, is really imagining us, dreaming the trees, and seeing the purity in everything we do. Getting angry, getting sad, losing it, whatever we do, it's a great thing. And so there's something about having compassion and love for everything that has the courage to live. And that's what we're doing here. And people do their best, which is sometimes not very good. But but we do our best. Our business is not what other people do, whether we can do our best. This thing keeps. Todd said there'll be no heffalumps today, and then I keep patting my chest and myself. Every day is a good day, with or without heffalumps in microphone. So I think we did it. What do you think? Did we do it? Thank you very much. And it's a noble thing to do. One of the great things to do a session together. And it's a transformational thing. First session I thought, oh, I'll never get through this. I'll wait till the next kinhin before I run screaming out of it. And I thought, well, I got through this. I'll wait till the next kinhin. And I'll probably punch out the wall as well. I was in so much fighting with myself, I suppose. Really, that's what that's about, isn't it? Nobody was doing anything to me. The universe wasn't, the wall wasn't, the session wasn't, but I was at war with myself. But at some stage that stopped, and I realized that even if I never understood koans, and even if I never had a Kensho experience, seeing the true nature of what Kensho means, even if I never had that experience, this was worth it. This was a great noble thing to be doing together. In a way, it helps the universe. Thank you very much.